to the season finale of the RCP. As always, for the fans, by the fans, it's the final one of the season. It's the final time this season that I can say, Murray, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Yeah, I'm good. A bit emotional because it's the finale, but we're all good. How are you, Cam?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, the final episode of the season again. It's going to be weird not recording weekly like this, but we do have content. We do have content planned in between seasons, but we'll get on to that. Yeah. But carrying on as usual, obviously there's some rugby to cover. And you know, we're both gentlemen, I'd like to say. So ladies first. And what a game it was, the Premier 15's final. Gloucester versus Exeter Chiefs. Absolute history made. Gloucester winning it for the first time, 34-19 over previous champions Exeter. Wow.
We've never won the league.
Have you not won it?
Nope. We were going for the double. We were going for the league.
You lost out to Saris, didn't you?
Yep, that's it. Just wind me up one last time. Yeah, but
sorry.
No.
I thought you had won it, but anyway, Gloucester winning it for the first time. So Gloucester are now better than Exeter. Anyways, I'll leave it to you to cover this game, Murray, because you were there.
I was there. Yes, I left my house up in Scotland.
You left your country, you went into the depths of England.
Yeah. 4 a.m. I left the house.
Oof.
8-hour drive.
You drove then, bloody hell.
I drove, yes, because that was the cheapest way to do it.
Fair enough.
Wasn't the most fun, but I did it. And you know what? Forget the result. One of the best atmospheres I've been to ever. First time ever in Gloucester, and Kingsholm, or Queensholm, sorry, as it got renamed for the week.
Yes.
Proper stadium. Like, it's not generic. You can tell it's been that way for a long time. And it's got great character around it. It has probably the most niche bar I've ever seen. I sent it to you on Snapchat.
You did, yeah.
Proper rugby bar.
Love it.
And it was just so good.
It's all over the walls.
It was magic. And after the game, getting to proper meet and catch up with friends of the show who are now, I always say friends for life, but like they are friends, proper friends. Laurie Kramer, Liv McGovern, Sylvia Chirani, Kate Zachary, Emily Scarrett, Abby Fleming, Cecilia Tuipulotu, Alex Matthews, Adele McMahon, the list goes on. It was just magic, and you know what? Gloucester bloody deserved to win. They were right up for it, and they are. I
love the scoreline as well.
It was, yeah.
15 points.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very forward dominated though from Gloucester's end.
Yeah.
Which was good. It was a proper clash of styles, which we kind of won in a final, to be fair.
You go back to the start of the season, you know, would you have expected a final like this?
A final like that with those teams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think maybe not before the season started, but maybe like 5 rounds into the Premier 15s, like Gloucester were flying out of the gates. And I think they actually only dropped off the top spot for 1 week. They have been in cruise control all season. And you know what? Hard work pays off. We've got friends of the show, like we've just said, down at Gloucester. Well done to them. They're deserving champions. Mo Hunt's last dance.
Yep.
What a send-off.
One of our nominees for player of the season.
She didn't win it though.
She didn't win it.
Did not.
Actually, we'll get onto that later. But yeah, and you actually you got a bit of a surprise treat. Managed to weasel your way onto the pitch at the end.
I did, yes. Our good friend Laurie, she gave me the ticket, and I didn't think much of it. Went to go and see her at full time just to say, thank you for the ticket, obviously. And one of the staff from Exeter Chiefs asked if I was Murray. I am indeed. She opened the gate, and I was on the pitch at full time, and got to get stuck in and have a full blown conversation with Stuart Townsend, who plays for Exeter Chiefs and is also the partner of Nicola Friday. So big Chiefs couple there. Love that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, since Murray is so big time now, we can't afford to pay him for next season. So we'll have to find another random Scottish man to fill in his spot. But no, absolute scenes. What a final. Almost 10,000, just under 10,000 attendance. Yep. Absolutely brilliant. We've been talking about the women's game growing all season. It's just been taken step up, step up, step up. And a game like that to finish it off with Gloucester winning it, making history. Yeah, happy days.
Very happy days. Overall, happy days, yeah.
Overall, happy days. You'll get them next season, maybe.
You know what? That's what a lot of the general sense, like once it calmed down a bit, obviously the emotion at full time, the girls were gutted. Obviously, any team in a final, if you get beat, you're gutted.
Yeah.
After that feeling not went away, but kind of calmed down a bit, a lot of them were saying, sorry, we'll come back next year. So, you know what? I hope they do. And I promise all the Exeter girls, I will not leave it as long this time to come down.
You can't leave it to the very final game of the season next year. No. But with that covered, we'll move on to something that if you had put your money on it at the start of the season, well, you wouldn't be getting much in return because they've done it 7 times in a row. It's in their blood. It's what they do. The Super Rugby final was played. Crusaders versus Chiefs. The hopes and the dreams of all neutrals watching, hoping the Chiefs could pull it off. But the Crusaders just know how to win a final.
It's like you said, it's what they do.
And what a send-off for Scott Robinson. And the scary thing is, after 7 titles in a row, he's now coaching the All Blacks.
Yes, he now gets to pick all the good players from the country.
Yes. Go over the game. 25-20 is the final score. It wasn't exactly a blowout. Yeah. I think what went wrong for the Chiefs was discipline. The penalty count, you're not going to win a final with 3 yellow cards.
No.
I think the killer blow was Sam Cane going off on 72 minutes, losing your captain. And, Sam Cane's had a bit of stick, especially in the international setup, people saying that he's not an international caliber player. He's not fit to captain the All Blacks. This season, there must be something in the water in New Zealand because he has been on top form. One of the best loose forwards throughout the competition by far. And he's really taken on that captaining role for the Chiefs. So to lose a figure like that, 72 minutes, so with 8 minutes to play, that was it. And it invites Cody Taylor to go over for a try 1 minute later. And Richie Mo'unga solidifying himself as the best fly half in New Zealand.
Oh, you mean currently? I was like...
Currently the best fly half in New Zealand. Not the best fly. He's not quite Dan Carter.
Well, there was actually a debate about this I've seen online during the week. Is Richie Mo'unga a better Crusader than Dan Carter? I'm like, no. No.
Who's won more titles?
I want to say it probably is Richie, to be fair.
Probably Richie, isn't it?
Because I'm not more to Scott Robertson as a coach than...
I think definitely, but I think, what a good coach does is just bring out the best in his players. And also, Richie Mwanga's last stint in a Crusaders jersey.
Yes, because he's away to Japan.
He is off to Japan. Yeah.
I've also found out from Colin Slade, former All Black. The interview's not out yet, but basically why a lot of players go over to Japan.
Go on.
So money, obviously, is a big factor.
Is it because they're close enough to still be picked for the All Blacks or something like that?
Nope. Nothing like that. I thought that was going to be the reason. Nope.
Yeah, that's what I would have assumed because they're not too far away.
So you're making more money.
Yes.
If you're an All Black, you're making more money.
Sweet, sweet yen.
Yeah. You're playing half the games at a lower competitiveness.
I mean, we've said before, Bowden Barrett coming off the bench and scoring hat-tricks.
They are making easy money and their body isn't getting nearly...
No, because at the end of the day, they're playing against... Japan is, like it or not, whether or not they had a brilliant year in 2019, they have not carried on that form. I hate to say it because I love Japan. They are still a tier 2 nation. They are.
I'm very confused at what comes under tier 1. Like what makes you tier 1? What makes you tier 2? Because if it's because if you're looking at rankings, Japan's tier 1.
Japan's 10th.
Yeah. Italy's 14th. But Italy got tier 1.
The way I see it is it's tough because I see Italy more deserved of tier 1 ranking than Japan, regardless of the 2019 form. I think if Italy played Japan right now, Italy would walk Japan over.
No, but I'm not saying Italy's tier 2. I'm saying they're tier 1. I don't understand what merits tier 1 and what merits a tier 2.
Yeah. But if we're looking at Japanese League One, yes, you've got a lot of big name players in that competition from overseas, but you also have a lot of young up and coming local talent who you put a young Japanese lad just fresh out of academy against Richie Mo'unga.
Good luck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But back to Super Rugby. Absolute heartbreak for the Chiefs. Is the Crusaders winning Super Rugby again? Is it bad for New Zealand rugby?
From New Zealand rugby, no, because you're getting finalists guaranteed.
Yes, but when you have such dominance from one of your franchises, and we talk about the gap in quality and skill, let's say it, between the New Zealand franchises and the Aussie franchises, and also the 2 Pacific franchises now.
Yeah.
You know, not only is there a gap there, but especially when it comes to playoffs, we saw what the Crusaders did to the Blues last week.
Yep.
You know, one franchise just absolutely running riot. 7 seasons in a row is unheard of anywhere else.
Again, I don't know the ins and outs. So what I'm thinking, it's down to the coaching and the mentality around all that.
100%, because if you take players like a Bowden Barrett, a Caleb Clark, Mark Talea, who I thought all played pretty poor in the semi-final, and you put them in an All Black setup with, say, Razor, you know, anyway, they're players that perform on the international setup under different coaching anyway.
Yeah.
But 7 seasons in a row.
I don't know. It just feels like it's more around the aura of what Scott Robertson's built and his coaching staff. But
so do you think Scott Robertson leaving now, do you think that's going to end the Crusaders' run?
Yes. Purely because, and again, he could prove me wrong, the man they've brought in, his win percentage in Super Rugby isn't even 30%. It's a massive drop. And there's people saying, oh, it's the right thing, it's the right choice. Is it? again,
in terms of Super Rugby as a competition, I think the same team winning it 7 seasons in a row absolutely kills the competition.
Mm-hmm.
It adds no suspense because it's gotten to the point now. Yes, we were optimistic. We said, yeah, the Chiefs have been on top form this season. Probably, the best team in the regular season. But as soon as you see Crusaders in a final, they have... Crusaders are the best team in the world when it comes to a final.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They do what Leinster wants to do.
They do what Leinster wants to do. They do what Toulouse wants to do. Yes, I know Toulouse have won more titles in the top 14 than the Crusaders have won in Super Rugby, but I'm just talking about...
It's not been
here for a lot. Yeah, I understand that. But I just want to look at mainly their recent 7... See, I can't say that 7 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Madness. And I think we said a couple of episodes ago that Scott Robertson going to the All Blacks is exciting because World Rugby is always stronger with a strong All Blacks team.
I'd like to correct myself from a minute ago. I said that Rob Penny, the Crusaders coach for next season, have a Super Rugby record under 30%. It's not Super Rugby. He's got 24% as Waratah's head coach, which still isn't great. That's still not good.
No. But what I was saying is, Scott Robertson going to the All Blacks, World Rugby is always better with a strong All Blacks team, but it is frightening with a coach of that caliber going to a team like that who have had a dip. All Blacks are going to be ruthless, I think. If he can get the All Blacks to the same success that he's had at the Crusaders, and I'm hoping he does a good reshuffle with the All Blacks.
I think he will.
Because, and I must say, we were hyping up the Crusaders a lot, but, key players for the Chiefs in this game, Sean Stevenson, sort of putting his middle finger up to be putting on injury cover to the All Black squad. Narawa, absolutely on fire on the other side. Honestly, if it were to swing the other way, he would have been my player of the match. By far. He was absolutely everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
D-Mac, very classy. Unfortunately, just outperformed by a Crusaders team, and on the day, a better fly-off in Richie Mo'unga.
Fair.
But, yeah.
I want to stick with, not with the game, more the aftermath of the game.
Yes.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ben O'Keefe was the ref. And we've talked about this. I think it was Wayne Barnes who received, after the Springbok versus France Autumn Nations game, received some horrible comments on social media. And Ben O'Keefe, after this final, has had an absolute onslaught of hate from mainly Chiefs fans, I'd presume.
I mean, I'm reading them now because Ben, very brave.
He did.
Sharing a lot of them. And get a grip. There's one, I'm not reading it all out because it is disgusting, but basically it finishes with, I now have to change my firstborn's name.
Yes, I saw that.
Because of what you've done. Shut up.
I think people forget that at its core, rugby is a game. We love it.
We love it, yes.
We love it, and we're passionate about it. And, we would die, we would go to our grave supporting our team forever and ever. But at the end of the day, a sports game does not warrant abuse on anybody. The result does not warrant abuse on anybody.
The bit that actually kind of broke my heart a little bit, because I'm not saying this as a podcast host. Obviously, we've spoke to Ben and we've got to know him personally. But the fact when he shared all that today on his Instagram and some of the description he's put, it's a sad reality that it doesn't affect him anymore. That's not right. The fact that he now knows it's coming.
I will say that I think, fair play to Ben for not letting it affect him. At the end of the day, he knows, and we all know, that he is one of the best referees in the world. I've said it before. He's probably one of my favorite referees. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I think he's quite fair with the way he refs the game. And I'm sorry, but people saying that he, was paid by the Crusaders or whatnot, if you watch the game back, the Chiefs were conceding clear, blatant penalty after penalty after penalty. And when the Crusaders conceded penalties, Ben was hot on it.
It's people. If you can't accept that your team were beaten and outclassed by a better team, you then look for excuses. Oh, this player was awful. No, he might have been, but there's 15 guys in that pitch.
Well, it's like, and I want to go back to Sam Cane when the All Blacks lost the series to Ireland and then went to Nelspruit and got just embarrassed by the Springboks, and people were after Sam Cane, and they were saying that him being the captain is one of the reasons why the All Blacks are playing terribly. Excuse me? How?
No, the ones I don't get is when people. I'm just making something up, hypothetically. If people blame the second row, they're the reason we got beat. Well, wait a minute, your fullback missed a tackle. That's why they got a try.
Your fullback missed a tackle. Your fly half missed a kick.
All you either blame all 15 as a team or none at all.
100%, and it's a team game. It's 15 men against 15 men. It's not it's not 15 individuals against 15.
Do not blame the referee. The only time you can really blame the referee is when it is ridiculously obvious that something's went wrong.
And I wouldn't say I watched that game. Obviously before the fallout, I watched that game and I thought, yeah, the Chiefs are absolutely bottling it. I thought that, with not even taking into account Ben's refereeing. I could see clear as day. I'm not a referee. I know the rules better than the average person, but that just allows me to say, yeah, that's a penalty.
Exactly.
It is what it is. And it's the unfortunate reality of modern day sport. Like we said, well done to Ben for essentially calling it out. And I think his attitude to not let it affect him, as sad as it may be, I think is the right way to go. Don't let it affect you. Because he is going to be one of the key referees going into the Rugby Championship and into the World Cup. So
don't worry, he might just cost your country in spite. No, he won't. He's a good referee. He's a professional. But I'm just saying that's what some people will think.
Probably, but we'll move on.
Thank you.
We had another final. The Currie Cup final.
Oh no!
Why do you always do this? Why do you?
It's because I don't watch it. That's the only reason.
I know you don't watch it, but I love the Currie Cup and the Cheetahs versus the Pumas, the Battle of the Big Cats, 25-17 for the boys from Bloemfontein. What a performance from the Cheetahs! Ruan Pienaar, wow!
Some boy.
The man is, what is he, 39?
Yeah.
38, 39, and he is possibly on the form of his life. I find it impossible to fathom how he's only had 2 caps for the Springboks. 2.
Yes, 39, yeah.
It's crazy. And in fact, on Springbok forums and everything, I've seen people saying Ruan Pienaar as the Springbok bolter for the World Cup. And I wouldn't be mad, because if I had Ruan on the pitch as my fly off in a World Cup final, I'd happy days.
Is that because more things are
is
coming?
out and out fly off happy days. He's been there, he's done that. Manny Lebok, he's won a URC title. You know, not quite the same. And now we've got Elton Yankees, who listen. I've said it before. Elton's one of those players who can step onto the pitch and have an absolutely brilliant performance. I go back to the final game of the Rugby Championship 2 years ago now, when we beat the All Blacks, and Elton played a vital role in that last 20 minutes. But then other games, he can have an absolute howler, and you think he shouldn't even be playing Varsity Cup level rugby. But yeah, 25-17. The reigning champions, Pumas, have been dethroned after their first ever Currie Cup victory last season. The Cheetahs, who finished the regular season top of the table, finished by winning the competition. And a little running joke, I suppose, with Springbok fans is every time the Cheetahs win a Currie Cup in a World Cup year, the Springboks go on to win the World Cup that same year. 2007, the Cheetahs won the Currie Cup, Springboks won the World Cup. 2019, Cheetahs won, Springboks won. I'm just saying, it's the stars are aligning. But I will go on.
You're setting them up for failure.
No, we're taking it home. But I will say, the Pumas, don't laugh at that. You're a Scotland fan. You have no right to laugh.
Wow. Save that for season 4.
The salt. I will go on to the Pumas, though, because they are a team who only compete in the Currie Cup. People have been saying, listen, the Pumas need to be competing in some sort of competition higher than this. The Cheetahs were an invitational team in the Challenge Cup last season. There's now 2 invitational spots. Do I think both South African teams are going to fill them? I hope not, because I'd like to see another European team, maybe a team from Georgia. Something like that would be interesting. But I think at some point the Pumas should be in with an opportunity to take their rugby to a higher level. People have been saying ditch the Lions from the URC and add the Pumas. Absolutely not. Don't do that.
Don't switch out
the Lions.
But
key players from the Pumas I just want to mention, players that have shone over the last 2 seasons, but especially this season. Tinus de Beer, an absolute outstanding fly half. I hope that one day he gets recognized on the international level, because he is, in my opinion, one of the best fly halves in South Africa. And I'm talking all competitions. He is something else. His game management is exceptional. His ability to run the ball himself, hit the line, tackle, defensive. He's the perfect fly half in my eyes, the perfect South African fly half. And then at fullback, Devon Williams, the absolute bolter for the Pumas in, the fullback position. He is just a try-scoring machine and hell of a boot on him. Can also take on a bit of that game management role. It reminds me a bit of an Andre Pollard, Villy Leroux dynamic with those two playing for the Pumas, because honestly, they work so well together. But both of these players, if they're not picked up by bigger teams like the Bulls, Stormers, Sharks, and given the opportunity on a bigger stage, someone give them the opportunity in the international team, because we're looking for a fly half. Look no further than a Ruan Pinar, a Tinus de Beer. And take the talent that have shone through in our own domestic competition.
There you go. That's what it should be for.
Yes. We'll move on, because just quickly, a brief outlook. Obviously, we're not going to be covering this fully because the season finale is today, but the Under-20s World Championship started today. Not started today, started this weekend in South Africa. The teams included Argentina, Italy, England, Ireland, France, Japan, Wales, New Zealand, Australia, Fiji, South Africa, of course, the hosts, and Georgia. And we had some very interesting games. I actually caught the tail end of the England-Ireland game, and I watched the South Africa-Georgia game. But we'll start with the first game, Argentina versus Italy, 43-15 for the Argentinians.
Yeah.
Absolute demolishing. England versus Ireland. This was a taste that ends in a draw, 34-34. What a game. An absolute arm wrestle, and the truest definition of an arm wrestle where it ends with a draw. And we don't like draws here, but I think that one was fitting of a draw. On to the other end of the scales, France versus Japan, 75-12 to the French.
Ouch.
If you saw the clips of the two teams in the tunnel before the game, the young French lads were absolutely giving the stare of death to that poor Japanese team, and they just unleashed their fury on the pitch and produced a result like this. Now, the next result could have gone very differently. New Zealand versus Wales, 27-26. There is hope for Welsh rugby because the Welsh boys put on a hell of a performance against the Kiwis and came so close to a historic victory.
But
unfortunately, I say unfortunately, I'm a neutral, but unfortunately for the Welsh lads, the Kiwis steal it with a single point. Another good game, Australia versus Fiji, 46-37. The Fijians well up for it, but the Aussies just proving too good. And then obviously
they were older than all of them.
Sorry?
Do you not think it's frightening that
it frightens me that I'm old. I'm 3 years older than all of them, or even more than 3 years for some of them.
Yeah.
Yet they all look like they could be my father.
Yeah, speaking of
some of the boys on the pitch, some of the Georgian lads, some of the French lads, some of the Argentinian lads with full-grown beards, and they look like they're in their mid-30s, been married for 15 years. I said mid-30s.
All right.
Been married for 10 years, let's say, and have a family of 3 children. It's scary.
Yeah, I've seen the All Blacks, well, the under-20s, do the haka, and I'm saying, like, there is no way I'm older than all of you.
It's disgusting that how massive some of those young lads are. When I was 18, 19, even 20, I was a stick figure.
I was bigger.
Now I'm borderline fat.
I was okay at 18. It was 14. I was a stick. And then I got too comfy getting big. And then,
yes, we are the true image of a man.
You know what? I worked hard for this.
Yeah. It's hard to maintain this physique.
I'm not heroin.
What did you say?
I said I'm not hairline. Sorry, I had to.
Onto the final game of the weekend for the under-20s. The Baby Box get a win over Georgia in a tightly fought game, 33-23. The Georgians were well up for it after some previous results, beating England twice, I believe. You know, they have been on some brilliant form, and they showed up and put a good performance on against the hosts. But the Baby Box did us proud, and the under-20 championship is coming home, just like it did in 2012.
Oh,
back when Andre Pollard and Jesse Creel were playing it. Oh, what a team it was!
Oh, shush!
But we're taking that home as well. Right.
Yeah. You can take one or the other. You're not getting both.
What? I'll take the World Cup. Thank you. The big
20s. That's the correct choice. There you
yes. We'll go on to some quick news. I have one piece of news I want to talk about, and I don't know if you have another one. We haven't really prepared this, but we talked about this in our group chat earlier today. Ken Owens.
Yes, that's another one from Wales.
Yeah, another blow for Wales, as Ken Owens has been out of the World Cup due to his inability to recover from, what was it, a neck injury?
Back injury, yeah.
A back injury, that's it. He's, his road to recovery will mean that he is out of the World Cup. And I was talking about this to one of the older boys in my local shop. And he was saying he's worried about the lack of experience now going into that World Cup, having lost 3 previous captains in Alun Jones, Justin Tipperick, and Ken Owens, and probably the on-form scrum half in Reece Webb.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know what I do not know what is going on. On the plus side, it gives youngsters.
I think this is like a player like a Ryan Elias. I think this is his World Cup to show himself. Listen, honestly, if I'm being completely brutal, I can't see Wales making it out of the group.
No, okay. Well, just sticking with Wales, right? Just for what you said, there is now a starting 15 that is named for Wales that will not be at this World Cup for whatever reason. But I will tell you,
15 is mad.
A full 15, and it's not the best, obviously, but it's fairly strong. And I'm going to rattle it off, and you can tell me why they're not going. See how well you've been paying attention. So,
not very well, to be honest.
Reece Kerr.
He was said that he was too fat.
Pretty much. Ken Owens, I just said it. So,
yes.
Will Davis King, the Cardiff prop. He was injured apparently in the build-up. Didn't think he was going to make it, but okay.
No, he wouldn't have been on my team sheet for the World Cup anyway.
Will Rowlands
is out.
Playing his club rugby in France. He's not. He's signed for Racing. He can't play.
That is a massive blow because Will Rowlands for me was an absolute standout of. I'm not too sure how young he is. I think he's on the older end of the scale, but an absolute standout figure. The player that I thought, yes, this guy, absolute workhorse, can fill Alun Jones's boots. So that's gonna be a massive loss for Wales going into this World Cup. Bigger than Alun Jones, I'd say.
Well, Alun Jones is obviously the
Alun Jones obviously out as well. Retirement, yes.
Corey Hill.
Corey Hill's out as well. Injury?
It's decided not to participate in the Rugby World Cup, prioritising other commitments over international duty. His ability to cover lock and back row would have been hugely useful.
I was going to say, because he's more of a utility forward, and Wales need everything they can get right now.
You want to keep chucking names at you? Justin Tipperick?
Retired. Which, that was a mad one for me. I couldn't believe... I could understand Alun Jones retiring, but I couldn't believe it when I saw Justin Tipperick retired. I couldn't believe it.
Ross Moriarty?
Japan.
Yep. Reece Webb?
That's, yeah.
Reece Priestland? Because he was left out of the wider squad.
And Priestland's, although he's one of those on and off fly halves, the experience is something that they are lacking. Obviously, they'll have a Dan Bigger, but other than that, what, a Sam Costello, a Patchell? I mean, Patchell's been there, done it, but you know what I mean? Like, the experience is lacking.
Yep. Jonah Holmes. Again, Jonah Holmes wasn't going to go.
I was going to say, more of a third, fourth string choice.
But because he plays for Ealing, he's not eligible. This next one hurts because how young he is. Joe Hawkins.
Premiership.
Because he signed for Chiefs.
That's the most stupid thing ever because Joe Hawkins, again, same as Will Rowlands, and he's so young. Absolute standout player.
Owen Watkin.
Another standout player in the centres. Yep.
We've then got Keelan Giles on the wing.
Up and coming. Why is he out?
He's still not been capped, and it just seems that he's always injured at the unfortunate times. And then lastly, you've already mentioned him, but he can play fullback apparently. Reece Patchell. Well, more often found at fly half, Patchell is another who had more than his share of injuries down the years. Now 30 years old, Patchell's a free agent and has been linked with a move to Agen in France, meaning you cannot play for Wales.
It's worrying when you can make a full 15, and a full 15, might I say, that would be pretty competitive on the international setup.
That team would do
that
a
is
job.
A competitive team. Joe Hawkins and Owen Watkins in the centre, Priestland at fly half, Webb at scrum half,
Alan Jones and Will
Rowlands and Alan Jones. Yeah, no, that.
Speaking of free agents, Spoo Nkosi.
Yes, he has been released from the Bulls.
I wonder why.
Yes, listen, Spoo's tenure with the Bulls was very short-lived. The Bulls administration staff, their social media staff, put out a statement saying, we thank Spoo Nkosi for all that he's contributed to the Bulls franchise. Having international quality player play for the Bulls has been an absolute honor. I think he played about 3 matches. Yeah, listen. Spoo, I think it's unfortunate, but I think the way that he's gone about it, whether or not, we know that he's been struggling with other things off the pitch throughout the season. I mean, he did go missing for 3 weeks, literally missing. Yep. And then after the Barbars game, he came out and made a statement, which wasn't targeted as so, but it was, saying that it was nice playing for a team where, he was essentially looked after and people listened to him. Jake White took that personally, came out with a statement essentially saying we're not happy with him for that, which fair enough, I can say.
Don't look good on either end, really.
No, listen. I don't really care that he's leaving the Bulls. He'll get picked up by another team.
Oh,
I reckon he'll probably end up in a France or something. I think other South African teams after his fallout with the Bulls will be a bit hesitant to sign a player who has a tendency to piss off for 3 weeks and then out the team he plays for, publicly. But I'm sure a team, somewhere will pick Spoo Nkosi up because he is a quality player. Yeah.
On to more potentially promising news. It seems that Les Kiss from London Irish is in the shortlist to be the Edinburgh head coach.
Yep.
So Les Kiss, he used to play rugby league, but then he became a coach working with the Springboks.
Yep.
Then the Waratahs, he helped Declan Kidney help Ireland win the Grand Slam in 2009, where you get the connection to London Irish. And yeah, he seems to be doing all right for himself. He's also fellow defensive specialist Marius Husson.
Yep.
Who worked with Franco Smith.
Yep.
At Italy, is also a candidate for Edinburgh. Just announce someday, because you know what? Right, I'm just going to say this as an Edinburgh fan. The Steve Diamond thing is weird. I'm not saying I don't like it, but if you want Steve Diamond, like Steve Diamond's looking after the team now through pre-season. He's done interviews saying like what they want to achieve. It screams to me like he's a head coach.
Yes.
But he's not.
Director, is he?
No, he's like head consultant.
Just make him head coach.
Make him head coach.
He's got the best CV for it.
And sticking with Edinburgh, Mike Blair, who we all know has said that he's leaving, he is away to Japan with the Kabuto Spears.
Kabuto Spears, yeah, I saw that.
As the attack coach, that will benefit him massively. And who's he working under? Dave Rennie.
Dave Rennie. That'd be an interesting setup. And I think for Mike Blair, taking a bit of the pressure off him, just let him get back to a purely coaching role will be ideal for him. I'm hoping that in a couple of seasons in Japan, he'll come back better than ever. And I can see him taking a head coaching role again, 100%. because he is a quality coach. But again, what happens off the pitch, we don't know. And obviously, Edinburgh's drop off in form, it has to affect a coach. Not only the players are affected, but coach is held maybe more responsible by far than just the players. So listen, for his benefit, I think great move for him. Completely different environment, a lot less pressure, a lot less expectation. I could see big things for him in League One.
100%.
And the Spears are a quality setup. They've got good players.
They've got some nice
Smith, naming one of them.
Oh, I know how you figured that one out there. Anyway, we have some awards. We've done our awards the end of the season. We did it on Instagram.
A lot.
Before Cam announces the winners, thank you to everyone that voted, because there was a lot of people that voted, including one of the nominees, but she didn't vote for herself, so that was okay. I thought that was quite funny. Anyway, Cam, will you do the honours, please?
I will. Bear with me because I'm bringing them up. As you can remember them off by heart.
I could.
So the RCP awards, we had International Male of the Season, and votes tallied the man himself, Anton Dupont, as wow, what a shock. Could you believe it? Anton Dupont is the winner of the International Men's Award for the RCP. International Women's Player of the Season, the girl herself, the absolute juggernaut, Marley Packer. International Women of the Year, yes, even though they're all home nation based. But anyway, that's just because at the end of the day, we were the ones that nominated the players, then put them into the poll. So we wanted it to keep an RCP theme to it. So we chose the players, and then we let you guys choose out of those. Yeah. Premiership Player of the Season, very well deserved. Ollie Lawrence, a fan favorite, I think, through the whole season with neutrals and everything. Yep. Now, URC Player of the Season, this one, I think, got a bit of controversy because he didn't play the whole season, but Darcy Graham... There was also only 2 nominees for this award. There was only 2 nominees because for some reason you, Anja, and Jemma all nominated Darcy Graham. But it's fine. Darcy Graham is our URC Player of the Season. And then you're going to have to help me pronounce this first name because I struggle with it. Our Premier 15's Player of the Season. Ailey. What is it? Ailey. Ailey. Spelled Eilidh. Ailey, yeah. Ailey Sinclair. Ailey Sinclair. Yeah. But then the big one. The Team of the Season. They won by a landslide. Only 2 nominations, being Munster and La Rochelle. There could only be one winner. Sorry. Yeah, no. La Rochelle are our Team of the Season. Well deserved. Magnifique. The only thing that would have made their season better was a top 14 title, but Toulouse said, Roman Untermack said, no. He wanted the RCP award. That's all it was for. You won an RCP award. RCP awards are probably the pinnacle of rugby awards as it goes. You've sort of got the Webb Ellis Cup. Then you've got RCP awards, but, well done to all the players. I'm saying that as if they're really invested in this. It did make me laugh, though, when people were trying to give us stick online saying, oh, how original doing awards. Listen, every podcast, every team, might I just say that we've been doing RCP awards for ages. Yes, this is season 3. So there's 3 years of RCP awards. So don't come at us saying that we're just copying everyone else. Everyone else is copying us. I like to point out, though, every podcast, every club, and every league, every newspaper that writes about sport, they all do end of season awards. Shut up. Amen, Murray. You fucking tell them. Now,
Yeah.
On to, I suppose, another form of awards. Instead of random game of the week, we thought as the final episode of the season, it would only be fitting to choose our 2 favorite games of the season, one being a favorite neutral game of the season, and then one being your favorite bias game of the season.
Bias.
We'll start with the neutrals.
You
let me go first. I've said it before. My favorite neutral game of the season has to be the Champions Cup final between La Rochelle and Leinster. That was the comeback of dreams, and it is a match that I could rewatch over and over and over again and still be entertained every single time, because you just don't see a game like that every day. And for it to be a final in the greatest, most competitive club competition in world rugby and, one of the best competitions in sport, to have a final like that and an absolute emotional roller coaster like that, and a game that made me feel sympathetic for Leinster, it has to be a good game. What about yours, Murray?
So I do actually really like that game, but I'm not going to be boring and pick the same game as you. So I'm going to go very close. I'm going to go for the top 14 final between Toulouse and La Rochelle, just because you want a moment that you will remember for a lifetime. And Romain Ntamak saying, "It's all right, boys, I've got this."
Hold my
with
beer.
90 seconds on the clock, after he had the chance to kick for touch and made an absolute dog's breakfast of it. To do that against a very solid La Rochelle team,
against the Champions Cup winners,
and a team that basically made no mistakes in that game until that point.
I mean, listen, how do you defend that? How do you defend Romain Ntamak just being world class?
Give him a mirror, because I feel like he would love himself. He would just stop and just
stuff like do his hair. Yes.
But yeah, that's my neutral game of the
onto the juicy bit. And I'll let you go first this time, because I think I know exactly which game you're going to choose.
Go on then.
I think you're going to choose the Calcutta Cup game, Scotland versus England.
I'm not. I was going to.
How could you not?
Okay, well, can I have 2 then? And be really, really biased?
No.
One country, one club.
You choose one. Fine, one country, one club, fine.
Fine. God, there was a reason I was wanting 2 anyway, because one I was actually there. Anyway, 1, yes. Scotland, England, Duhan van der Merwe, try of the century.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
one of the best tries of the decade.
Well, we're only 3 years in, but yeah, sure. I'll take the try of the decade. Yeah, just 4 Calcutta Cups within 5 years. Back to back. It's just all giddy. I just wish
England are firmly inside of your back pocket.
That try lives rent-free in my head
forever, till the day you enter the grave.
You have that
try
moment.
You will have that try on replay at your funeral.
Yeah. It will be the background at my first dance at my wedding. That won't be, but don't tell Rach that.
I was gonna say, please don't tell Rach that.
We're all romantic, and then look behind and see Duhan van der Merwe.
If anything, it'll only make the moment more romantic, I'd say, with his luscious blonde locks absolutely running over English players left, right, and centre.
It's poetic. It's what
you know what? I'm going to take a bit of credit because we grew him.
Yeah, but we made him.
We produced him. Well, you just put a nice blue jersey on him. We made him.
No, we made him. You just had him.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't for South Africa, then he wouldn't have won the Calcutta Cup. Anyway,
my club bias, purely because I was there, and if you go back to that episode, my heart was absolutely pounding that whole episode. I don't think I hosted that episode because my voice didn't come back. Champions Cup groups, Edinburgh versus Saracens. Just to think, I've beat Saracens and England in the same season.
The club that you love the most beat the club that you hate the most.
Yes, absolutely.
How poetic.
Love
As
it.
a Scotsman as well, the pinnacle of life.
And it was like a week before the Calcutta Cup, so it was like
you've beaten Owen Farrell twice
in 2 weeks. Twice in 2 weeks.
Anyways, I'm going to choose 2 then.
That's fine.
Mine also comes a victory against England. South Africa versus England in the Autumn Nations. After last year, they managed to get one up on us. After, might I say, a controversial yellow card on Siya Kolisi.
Oh, don't do it. We're not doing this now.
They did manage to beat us. Fair credit to them. But we came back and we said, no. You remember where your position is. And yeah, just every moment of that game was just pure brilliance. Just the dominance left, right, and center. Malcolm Marx embarrassing Carl Sinclair with an absolute bone-crushing shot. Literally lifted Carl Sinclair out of the air. Kurtley Aronsen's try from Damien Willemse to Willy Leroux to Kurtley, steps Marcus Smith. Every moment of it was just on my feet. Something about beating England just makes me happy. As
a Scotsman, I can confirm. Yes.
Yes, we have that in common. However, you're not going to like my my other bias one, my club bias one. It was the Sharks versus Edinburgh. Going over. Huh?
I was there as well.
You were there, going over to the Dam Health and winning.
You did not batter us. Do not give me it.
Batter you, but we beat you with not even our full strength squad.
Yeah, well, it just tells you how good we were this season.
Well, there. And just memories from that game. Grant Williams just being the best scrum half in South Africa.
To be fair, that's the day I met Neil Powell. So, yeah.
That is true. Grant Williams just being the best scrum half in South Africa. Oxenshea becoming a 13 for a little bit and just running the line and having disgusting pace. Yes. Mahunu doing the same thing and almost scoring a try because apparently our props are now just as fast as our backs.
Yes. And Henry Emmelman with the beautiful try in the corner, which was right in front of me. There we go. Oh, it's all coming back to me now. Love it.
Let me just flood those memories back to you. But that, and I think just the RCP bias because it means that I had one up on Murray. Yeah.
Favorite?
It's great because, well, actually, if you think about it, on the RCP, we're all tied up because Edinburgh beat the Sharks last season's URC. The Sharks beat Edinburgh in this year's URC, and then obviously Harv not being with us anymore, but
he's not dead. He's just busy.
He is busy. He'll be back. The Sharks beating Harlequins in Durban, and then the Harlequins beating us. So we're all square.
But Chiefs beat Quins. Oh no, because Quins beat Chiefs. Oh yeah, we are all level.
We're all level. We're all square.
There we go.
Damn.
No, but Scotland beat England. South Africa beat England. Harv's last. Just comes down to me and you.
Yeah, but South Africa beat Scotland in last year's Autumn Nations.
You weren't even part of the show.
To 15.
Oh no, I was there. It just doesn't count because you weren't with us.
Yeah, it counts.
It doesn't.
And it's also, I'll have one up on, I suppose, everybody because we're going to win the World Cup and that's the biggest one up. I still have a one up on all of you because we are world champions. So
you are an absolute jokester.
Okay, tell me who's going to win the World Cup then.
Not South Africa.
No, they are.
That's my answer. That means nothing to me.
Oh, it does.
The Curry Cup is as relevant as the MLR in my eyes. I apologise, but there we go.
That is the Curry Cup is the oldest domestic rugby competition.
I know. I just don't watch it. So
How dare you? How dare you slew a competition who has produced such brilliant international talent throughout the years.
Okay.
It's fine. Just remember when we absolutely demolish you in the World Cup pool stages that all those players stemmed from the Curry Cup.
Okay. So does half of our players, to be fair. So
exactly. Exactly. So have that, Murray.
Do you have any more awards or moments? Quickly. Actually, I'm going to ask you because I'm the one that does them all.
Go on.
I'm going to. What is your favorite final whistle interview of the season, not of all time, because it gets a bit strange. We've had some
favorite final whistle. It's a toss up for me between Club Bias, Butter Chamberlain, because we love it. And I said it before. One of the episodes that I found most interesting was the interview with Ben O'Keefe. And I've told you this many a time. I think that's the only final whistle episode that I've gone back and watched again. In fact, I think I've watched it 3 times. But yeah, that and the Butter Chamberlain was up there. And now I will ask you, because you are the host of the final whistle. It's going to be a controversial one, and hopefully, none of our guests. Actually, can I add another one? I suppose it was an interview, but we were both there when Byron came on as a guest co-host.
Is that your favorite episode then?
That was that's my favorite episode because I loved making Byron hate me. It was great.
I just love proving people wrong when people are like, "You're not friends with Byron." Yeah, I am.
Yeah, top lad Byron. We love Byron. I still chat to Byron every now and again.
Yeah.
When the Western Force or Connacht lose, I'll say,
So what's the controversial question you want to ask me before
the one I want to ask you, because you are the host and you've made many a friend doing final whistle. Tell me, Murray, tell me, out of all of the brilliant guests that we've had on, you couldn't possibly pick one as your favorite, could you? But you have to pick one as your favorite. Which is your favorite final whistle episode?
I'm gonna pick one because it was one and done. I have not spoken to this person since. They are still one of my all-time favorite players, and just the fact that we managed to get him on for half an hour means so much. I'm going for Victor Matfield. There you go. Because I'm not picking any
a Scotsman loving South African players.
Oh shush. No, but I just think like 10-year-old me is like, what?
Yeah, to be fair, it's not often you get to sit down with a World Cup winner and possibly one of the best locks to go down in rugby history.
I think legends and then friends is 2 very different categories.
Yeah.
So like there's one's final whistle I've made a lot of good friends from. I named half of them at the start of the episode. But there's also legends that, like I said, is one and done. I haven't spoke to since. So Victor Matfield, Liam Messam, David Campese. We had David Campese on this year, for crying out loud.
We did. Talk about legendary.
Talk about controversy as well. I love him, but my God, he was not scared of answering anything.
But we love that.
It's what you need sometimes. But yeah, that's my favorite guest because I'm reminiscent. But I'm not picking my favorite friend.
Firm. If any of our other guests are watching, what Murray has just said is that you are all irrelevant in his experience of, taking time out of your busy schedules and forcing you to talk to him for up to an hour at a time. And he has chosen a man over all of you. So essentially what Murray has just said, you're all trash. I'm only messing, but it's true.
Okay. That's not even close. But there we go. We have, guess what? There's more interviews coming. Because interviews will run separately.
What we will say is although this is the end of the regular episodes for the season, Murray is going to continue with the final whistle episodes. We will be back with a regular season just before the World Cup at the tail end of the Rugby Championship, in time to cover the biggest competition that rugby knows. But throughout the gap in between seasons, Murray is going to be continuing with interviews. Both of us together are still, excuse me, are still going to be doing content. We plan to do game watch-alongs on TikTok, live game watch-alongs. I'm sure there'll be other content to come as well. So it's not like, we're going off the face of the earth for 2 months. We just need to take, we just need to take a couple of, a little bit of time to just chill out. And
and if we were to keep going, you're clutching at straws.
Oh yeah. I mean, you've got what we got now, the under-20s and the European sevens.
Well, no disrespect, I'll probably be watching most of it, but I'm not enough to not watching it in depth to talk to you lovely people about. Yeah.
I mean, I've managed to make it through this season, especially the start of the season, with managing to talk about Premiership without watching much of it.
Was it? I mean, this is actually your inaugural season with RCP, so
it is. Yeah, I feel like I've been here for longer, but this is the end of my first season.
It's been a long season.
It has been a very long season. And next season, I feel, is just going to be longer because we've got so much. It's a World Cup year, Murray.
So
is this the first World Cup for the RCP?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. First World Cup. So if you have somehow missed this whole season, one, where the fuck have you been?
True. Come on now. It's disrespectful, if anything.
We started very early last season, which we've learned not to do again.
Yes, because we had to talk about NPC for like 4 weeks.
4 weeks clutching at straws. Like, yeah, not.
Harv being the only enthusiast. No, I enjoyed NPC, but just not really talking about it.
I enjoy watching it, but again, like I've just said about under-20s and sevens. Yeah, I'll watch it, but I'm not.
My task for next season is to get you to show the Curry Cup a bit of respect.
Okay.
But next season we are going to be covering top 14, which is a first for the RCP.
The final convinced us completely. So, yeah, but if you've missed us this whole season, for shame.
Yeah, shame on you.
But I'm going to try and rattle them off in order and off by heart. NPC, URC, Premiership, Autumn Internationals, Super Rugby, Six Nations, TikTok Six Nations, Champions and Challenge Cup, respectively. Then, because of Random Game of the Week, we have dabbled in Super Rugby Americas, Curry Cup, MLR, Japanese League League One, and the Kenyan Cup for some reason.
Yes. And we covered Rugby Championship. Haven't mentioned that.
Oh, have we done all that? And that's it. Oh, yeah, right. Cool.
That is 16 separate competitions that we have covered. Oh, and the sevens.
And seven, yeah. Get that clipped. And we've had guests from World Cup winners to fresh up-and-comers to new signings to cult heroes to referees to some of the biggest names in the women's game, some of the seven circuit.
What a season this has been.
Why would you want to be anywhere else? And guess what? Like I said,
what other podcasts are you watching? What are you watching? Joe Rogan? Stop that. Stop it.
Joe Rogan's got enough money and talks absolute waffle half the time. I like Joe Rogan. Yeah,
I love Joe Rogan, but he doesn't cover rugby. So watch us instead, where we talk a lot of waffle and a lot of shit, but we talking about rugby, so it's better.
It's better, yeah.
And also, you get to watch a South African and a Scotsman just argue for, at least 50% of the time.
It's going to get heated in season 4.
Oh yeah, no. We honestly,
the first few weeks, especially, it's just
first few weeks. At least when Scotland get knocked out of the pool stages, then we can be friends again. But
Wait a minute, why do we have to get knocked out? Why can't Ireland go out?
When Scotland get knocked out of the pool.
Shut up, listen, we can
Let's be realistic here.
I'm being realistic. You're going out. Bugger you.
We're not going out, Murray.
We're already starting.
Topping the pool. You laugh at that. I don't know how we laugh at that. South Africa are topping the pool.
Watch this. Tonga and fucking...
Tonga are going to beat Scotland.
I hope Tonga run riot around you. I hope Israel Folau plucks out the sky and jumps over Cheslin Colby.
I hope Oxenshade physically eats Darcy Graham, just consumes him.
You know what? Just because you keep taking the piss, I hope that Scotland score a try against South Africa and it's off a ruck that Pierre Schumann has turned over. WP now pops it out. It goes to Hugh Jones, who played for the Stormers, and then it goes to Duhan van der Merwe to finish it.
And then Carl Steyn comes in for the celebration.
Way! Yeah.
I suppose in the 1 in 7 trillion chance that Scotland somehow make it to the final and win it, I mean, it's basically another World Cup for South Africa.
That will be the joke. You do realise that. That will be the jokes.
It will be. It'll just they might as well etch South Africa onto the Webb Ellis Cup again. SAA.
It's gonna be a new winner. It's gonna be a first timer.
No, it's not. It's gonna be the Springboks, and if it's not the Springboks, it's gonna be either the Wallabies or the All Blacks
or Scotland. We have as good a chance as anyone.
Anyway, so as you can see, Murray's not very good at comedy, so we're gonna end it there. Thank you guys for joining us for the entire season. For those of you who have stuck around, on our TikTok, watch the episodes, watch the interviews, interacting with us on our Instagram, the polls and everything, taking part in the RCP awards and the end of year awards that we did as well. And just
vote for your decision on what country you had to represent in the Six Nations. Thank you for that as well. Actually,
no, I despise all of you for making me represent Wales in the Six Nations. Don't do that again. In fact, next season, if I have to represent Wales again, I'm just gonna boycott the Six Nations.
You don't mean that.
And it's just gonna be Murray sitting here on his own, twiddling his thumbs.
Because we've got another Calcutta Cup, probably.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching this season, and we will be back with you in time for the World Cup when South Africa win it. Thank you very much.
We might have to put parental.
It's over. South Africa win the World Cup. Enjoy next season when I take over the RCP because I'll be the world champion. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Bye.